Here, in the seclusion of Bletchley Park, north of London, the headquarters of the British codebreakers are located from 1939 onwards. Their mission? To intercept and decipher the secret communications of enemy states, in particular, Nazi Germany. One main focus is on finding ways to break the encryption of the Enigma cipher machine. The time-consuming process of working with pen and paper, which is also prone to error, is soon to be supported by powerful machines. For each Enigma variant and each radio network, there is a daily key setting that comprises 4 partial keys. The so-called Turing-Welchman bomb can extract 1 subkey of the Enigma daily key setting.
The Bletchley Park codebreakers had realised that the code-breaking war was not going to be a war between code makers and code breakers, but between cipher machines and code-breaking machines. Just sticking with an Enigma machine, which is what this is trying to attack, there's 150 million different ways to set up an Enigma machine every day on every network. So you have to have an automated approach.
The achievements of the British codebreakers are world famous today. However, the work of their German counterparts, such as Gudrun Jackson's father, Fritz Menzer, has hardly been investigated. Menzer keeps his work for the cipher department of the German High Command a secret for the rest of his life, even to his own daughter.
I knew absolutely nothing about it, and I can't imagine it either. Now I look at my father and I'm just wondering how he did that. That was all kept secret. I didn't have a clue.
But this was still a secret too. Here in Britain, the existence of this machine was kept a secret until the mid-1970s. The reason for that, I think, is that people were still building new types of cipher machine throughout the 1940s and 1950s, like your father's machine. And to know that people had invented other machines that could attack cipher machines was a very dangerous piece of knowledge.
The deciphered radio messages from World War II remained classified for a long time. Now declassified, they show how comprehensively informed the British codebreakers were about the activities of the Germans. Fritz Menzer is also intensively watched.
These are messages that were sent on an Enigma machine by the Abwehr, German intelligence service. And this one is Paris reporting back to headquarters, I think, in Berlin in May of 1943. And it says,
Menzer was here, examined 13 cipher methods presented.
There's a good reason why he should be checking out the cipher methods they've been using in Paris, because the horrible British in Bletchley Park are reading the messages that they are sending to each other, including this one. So this is a document that was put together by essentially Bletchley Park people that's called The Travels of Regierungsoberinspektor Menzer. This is like a storyline from a play or a film. Okay, and this calls itself The Power of Veto. At an early stage of the reforms in the Abwehr ciphers, it became clear that subsection 4C2's powers vested in Oberinspector Menzer were dictatorial. Here's the master. Okay, they were able to veto any ciphers of which they disapproved within 24 hours. Gosh, that's very quick. This is very interesting because what this is really telling us is that the team of people at Bletchley Park who have been investigating the structure of German cipher security have discovered that your father was basically in charge of cipher security. He has power to say yes and no to all the cipher techniques. Not only does that confirm that it's just wrong to believe that Germans were unaware of their own difficulties with cipher security, but it also tells me that your father is like in the key position here.
Spain, Portugal, France, Belgium, Holland, Denmark, Norway, Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary, Yugoslavia, and Italy. Fritz Menzer travels through half of Europe during the war years as a person responsible for the quality of German ciphers. After the end of the war, Menzer reports on those inspection trips to the US Secret Service.
In March 1942, I received a personal assignment from Admiral Canaris, the head of the counterintelligence division of the Wehrmacht High Command, to test the security of the Abwehr's encryption systems. The results were depressing. In no way did the key systems meet modern requirements. So I developed new methods, and two of them were produced, the cipher box and the cipher disk. They were especially designed for agents.
Menzer's contact, Admiral Canaris, is not only head of the Abwehr, the Wehrmacht Secret Service. From 1938 at the latest, this former supporter of Hitler becomes one of the key figures of the military resistance. Menzer is a close confidant of the Admiral. However, he is probably not involved in the preparations for the attempted assassination of Hitler on July 20th, 1944. A few days after the failed assassination attempt, Admiral Canaris is arrested. In 1945, he is hanged in Flossenbürg concentration camp. Seemingly, Menzer continues to keep his distance from politics and the Nazi Party, remaining in his own world of cryptology. He wants to improve or replace the customary Enigma machines, which he recognizes as insecure even before the war. His cipher device 41 functions entirely differently than Enigma. The pins and lugs work together like a mechanical random generator. But production stagnates. Consequently, cipher device 41 is used on only a small scale during 1944. However, soon, the codebreakers at Bletchley Park become aware that a new device is in use, and that this does not seem breakable with the existing methods.
By the time when this machine comes into use towards the end of the war, I suspect that Bletchley Park didn't trouble themselves to investigate it too closely because there was not enough messages for it to be easy to break. They were still succeeding very well on other codes and ciphers. So it would not surprise me if it is true that this machine was never broken. That does not mean that they were not capable of breaking it, but I am quite happy to believe that they never broke messages on this.
And I think there were only 100 or very few examples
of the machine.
Yeah.
It would be a different story if your father's plan, which was to replace Enigma with this more secure device, had been brought into operation when it should have been much earlier. Even here at Bletchley Park, everything is about Enigma, Enigma, Enigma all the time, and nobody talks about this machine.
Also ich habe erstmalig von dieser Maschine gehört.
I first learned about this machine from a newspaper article that was sent to me. It said that such a machine had been found in the forest. And that's when I read and heard about it for the first time. My father never talked about it. It was all completely new to me. And when I read the name Fritz Menzer, I collapsed. I knew my father was a capable man who did a lot of work inventing and tinkering with things, but he never talked about it.
And you didn't know at all until recently that your father had this very senior position to effectively act as the policeman for codes and ciphers.
No, I didn't know that either.
It's quite extraordinary that you were not told these things.
For me, he was a radio operator who received messages in other countries and passed them on to Germany.
Presumably to protect his family, one of Germany's most influential crypto specialists of World War II spends a lifetime saying that during the war he was an ordinary radio operator. But the story does not end there. With the knowledge gathered at Bletchley Park, at the end of the war in spring 1945, the Allies set out to find Fritz Menzer and the other crypto experts of the Third Reich.